Yeah, well, it was on display fully when you interviewed Andrew Tate. And you could see in that interview that you were almost acting as the father in that moment.
Yeah.
So that was fascinating. What was that experience like of interviewing him, but also like being the father or embodying the father to him in that moment?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, I'm 18 years older than him, and I had the big gray beard, so I knew that was going to have an effect on him unconsciously. I was very aware that when I'm in that role, people, whether they're conscious of it or not, project father onto me, and that gives you a certain power. And if you're somebody's father, they respect you, they're a little afraid of you, and maybe they hate you too. There's all kind of, whatever they feel about their father, it's all going to be there. And so if you understand that, and come from a place of like acceptance and loving kindness, non-judgmental, but also firm, then you can get a lot out of people, especially men like Tate, who rarely is going to encounter somebody who is going to push back against him. Who would he respect to push back against him? Well, probably only his father. So now I'm sitting there across from him and in some way in the role of the father. And so I knew that I had that leverage, and kind of conducted the interview from that place. And listen, that guy gave me a lot of openings. He revealed himself. I mean, I think he was incredibly vulnerable. I know other people would say, oh, he was in his defense. Of course he was in his defense. We're all in our defense. But I was really touched by his willingness to show himself, to reveal himself, and to go along with me. Like, I felt that he was open to me, and I really appreciated that. So, yeah, it was. But yeah, when I saw the interview, it was odd. Because there I am. I'm that guy. I'm the old guy with the beard, the wise man. You know what I mean? Helping this young guy try to see something deeper. I'm like, okay, I'm that guy now. Like, because I used to be like you, young buck and full of energy and running around and playing sports and chasing girls and wanting to conquer the world. Like, there's still that part of me. That part of me's. Now it's over, and now I'm in a new place. I'm still getting used to it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, what was that experience like then, being there with him, and what was unexpected about being with Tate that you didn't expect when you flew there?
Well, that dude has an aura. He's powerful. He's a powerful man. He's a very smart guy. He's kind. He's generous. He's a wonderful leader of his community. I mean, he sits at the head of the table, and he's the boss, and he's a good boss. And I found the way that he was with everybody, because there was lots of people there, his family and friends, and I found him to be. He was great, and he was funny, and I appreciated that, and it created safety. Some about those kind of characters that are, I don't know, they're scary in some way, but they're also, there's some beauty in it. Mm-hmm. And there's something just in that is vulnerable. Like, to be the leader is vulnerable. To have everybody looking at you is vulnerable. And so I respect the fact that he puts himself out there so boldly, and subjects himself to all the transference, the love and the hate, and he's paying the price for it. And maybe that's a price that he has to pay, and maybe it's a price he should pay. I don't know, but I respect anybody who puts himself out there like that, says what they feel, says what they mean, takes risks, doesn't hold back. And he's on display for everybody to see. He is the man in the arena. And is he a perfect person? No. Does he have blind spots? Of course, we all do. But he's out there, and I ultimately can't not respect that, and I feel like he's playing his role, and I think he's got a lot of awareness of it. And having said all that, he's very respectful, and that's was my experience of him, and I think it's all there in the interview. You see that he's respectful towards me. He's even though it's like he just says he doesn't believe in therapy. He's not demeaning. He's not condescending. He's not judgmental. Like, he's actually, everything I said, he was taking in. He was listening, and I appreciated that.
What did you change about your behavior after going there?
Well, I mean, obviously that gave me a lot of confidence because I'm flying to Romania. This dude is under house arrest. He's, one of the most notorious figures on the planet. People, as I said, love and hate him. And I'm flying over there. I'm going to go over to his house, and I'm going to interview him. Now, we had, I'd interviewed him once before, but it was before he really blew up. He was 33. He still had that kind of young buck energy. He wasn't a man all the way he is now. So there was a relationship, and he wanted the interview. I mean, he's the one who originally reached out to say, let's do another one. So I knew that there was something he was after, right? I was invited, so that felt good. But also, you sit down at the table, you're squaring off against a guy who's just everybody's talking about, and everybody's going to be watching this. It's a moment. And I was nervous. Was I going to be able to handle this moment? But this is what I do. It's a muscle kicked in, and I just let it take over and guide the interview. I had some things in my mind that I thought I might ask, but essentially when you're in a kind of therapy session like that, you're really just trying to stay present and let things arise and trust the moment and trust the questions that come into your head. And so I just did that. And I thought that if I could do that, if I could stay present, if I wasn't working off my notes, if I was just grooving with him, dancing with him, boxing with him, whatever analogy you want to use, that would force him to come into presence. And I know that presence wins every time. The more present person will hold the frame. It's just how it works. And so ultimately, that's how I don't want to say that I won, because that's not the right way to think about it, but I pulled him into my world and showed him something that I think he was scared to see, but also happy to see.
If you enjoyed this clip, watch the full episode right over here, and don't forget to subscribe.